Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Magic Strategy with John and Lynn. Anyways, starting the new year, 2018, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, just as an intro. We've been playing Magic since we were kids. We're both 29 years old, and I've been playing since I was in 7th grade. John's been playing since he was younger than that. So,
Yeah, Ice Age.
yeah, so I started in 7th edition. Anyways, we love Magic. We've been to plenty of tournaments, you name it, and we just love the sport. And we've constantly thought about doing a web channel to just talk about Magic strategy and going forward. Anyways, and so that's what we're doing here. However, we're already coming from the premise that you know how to play Magic already. So this is not basic strategy. Like, and that with that being, you know how to play the game, the phases of the game. You know how to attack and block and play a giant growth versus a shock. You get the idea. Anyways, but with that said, this is just Beyond the Basics, episode 1. And today we're going to be talking about the 3 general types of Magic decks.
So there have been a lot throughout the history of Magic, but the main 3 that started off was Aggro, Combo, and Control. What we'll start off with today is an aggro deck. One of the first major aggro players, Paul Slay, he developed a deck called Slay decks. Think of it like an aggro red. The point of this deck is when you top deck, and you will with this deck because it's so fast, because it's aggro, any card you draw, you're going to be able to use. And so you draw a Shock, you're going to use it. You draw a Raging Goblin, you can use it. His decks were designed so that you could actually afford to play it rather than going for all the expensive rares. You can modify this type of aggro deck just for about any color, but he favored red. And I like making aggro decks red too, so I using the app Deck Builder, I made a standard red Slay deck. Keep the cards cheap. Because of that, I run about 20 land in the decks, and it goes smooth. It's amazingly fast. Right now I'm running... well, do you have anything to add really quick?
To aggro decks or just...
Yeah.
We'll get more involved as it goes along. Right now, just showing a good example of a Slay deck and the strategy behind it
Okay.
is a good strategy for now.
Well, let's go with how I build the decks too then. So you got 20 land. You want to keep your deck as small as possible so that you can draw the cards that you want to play. So 20 land.
2-to-1 ratio if you have 60 cards in your deck.
Yep. And then, so that leaves 40 of everything else. And so if you build up in a pyramid style, like you have 2 1 casting costs, then 1 2 casting costs, and you go with 2, it eventually creates a pyramid where you can have, let's see, 4, 8, 12, 16 1 casting cost, 4, 8, 12 2 casting cost, 4, 8, 3, and then 4 casting cost. That makes it so that every time you draw, you can play 1 or 2 spells a turn. And that's a lot faster, and you're not necessarily worried about what the other person is playing because you're playing your deck, not really your opponent.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So I'll just go over this deck here right now. Starts off in the creatures. Bomat Courier, 1 colorless for 1/1 haste. You draw that one, you're going to hit them. But it has a extra ability that's really good. Basically where whenever it attacks, you exile top card of your library face down without looking at it. And then you can sacrifice that card and discard your hand and then draw all cards that you've exiled with that one. And so you can actually keep going a bit more.
This is our first episode, so forgive the lagging. We're trying our best.
Rigging Runner. 1 red for 1/1 first strike. Raid. Rigging Runner enters battlefield with +1/+1 counter on it if you attack with the creature this turn. You top deck, if nothing else, you got a 1/1 first strike. First turn, that's not bad. But then if, take for example, the second turn, you just hit him with your Bomat Courier, 1/1 haste, then you can play that one. It's 2/2 first strike for 1.
That's 3 damage on turn 2, bringing their life total down to 16.
Yeah. Soul Scar Mage, 1 red for 1/2 prowess. If a source you control will deal non-combat damage to any creature an opponent controls, put that many -1/-1 counters on that creature instead. I don't really target the creatures because when you're trying to kill somebody really fast, you want to use spells to hit them or creatures to attack them. And so I'm not going to be focusing on what's on the battlefield. I'll let the creatures handle that because you're going to be playing with the best creatures you got. I mean, you got a 2/2 first strike for 1 mana. You're going to be doing it. Now with this one, it's a 1/2 with prowess. Any spells I play, I'm going to hit them and he gets bigger. So potentially it'll be a 2/3, or if I'm going to be playing multiple spells, 3/4. I mean, it's just awesome. Now we're getting into some of the other stuff where a lot of people wonder why would you be playing this because it's such a drawback. Blood Rage Brawler, 1 colorless, 1 red, 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, discard a card. Now, you don't really want to discard a card a lot of the times, but it's a 4/3 on turn 2. So, I mean, you attack 5 times with that, he's dead. And that's just one of the cards. But if you have your entire deck hitting them, I mean, it's worth it to discard 1 card just to do all that extra damage. Raptor Hatchling. This one was kind of an iffy for me. 1 colorless, 1 red, 1/1, Enrage. Whenever Raptor Hatchling is dealt damage, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. So basically it's got to die. You could pump it up with some other stuff, but we're playing red. And if you top deck, target creature gets +0/+2, you're not going to be able to win very many battles doing that. So I'm just planning on him dying to get the 3/3. And if nothing else, he's a distraction, and I can just get 1 damage through every now and then. Combat Celebrant. This is a good one, I like it. 2 colorless, 1 red for a 4/1. 4/1 on turn 3. Granted, we had a 4/3 on turn 2, so we're getting there. But the kicker here is if Combat Celebrant hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all other creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So it's all these creatures that we're hitting with, we just get more. And if they block this one and kill it, so what? You got more that you're drawing and hitting them with. I mean, it's very unlikely that they're going to have an answer for every single creature that you play, let alone every spell that you play to hit them. I mean, you're just making them try and survive until you're top decking. But with that first card, Bomat Courier, I mean, you're not going to top deck because you're going to keep drawing those. So good. And then the last one on the creature side of the deck, Scrapper Champion, 3 colorless, 1 red for 2/2, double strike. That's awesome. When it enters a battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. Whenever Scrapper Champion attacks, you may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So the point here, you're getting a 3/3 double strike for 4. That's 6 damage for 4 that you're going to hit them every turn. That hardly any creature can block and survive, and even if it does, I'm still hitting them with spells and all the other creatures, so it's just awesome. Now, from the creature side of it, we're going on to the spells. Shock, self-explanatory, 2 damage target creature or player.
1 casting cost.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 1 casting cost shock, I mean, it's awesome. There's been tons of different art throughout the times, and it's pretty good. Chandra's Pyro Helix, 1 colorless, 1 red, deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players. There's not a whole lot of red spells in Standard right now that can damage players. A lot of them are pumping up your creature +1/+0 or dealing damage to a creature and you get an extra effect. I want to be able to hit my opponent. If I just attacked with everything I have and they're down to 2 because they pulled something out of their hand, this will answer it. So, I mean, granted, it's a very specific scenario, but all the same, when you top deck, you want to be able to hit them. Lightning Strike, 1 colorless, 1 red, 3 damage to target creature or player. So, that's good. Open Fire, 2 colors, 1 red, 3 damage to target creature or player. So just 1 more mana for that. Not really good on the mana curve, but ideally I'd rather have a Lightning Bolt, but that's not in standard. And then last one on the spell side, it's a Planeswalker, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, 2 colors, 2 red for 4 loyalty. Add 1, exile top card of your library, you may cast that card. If you don't, Chandra, Torch of Defiance deals 2 damage to each opponent. So, play that one, I can deal 2 damage to you even if I can't play it, because top decking, I just got to 4 mana, I'm going to play him right away. Or, +1, add 2 red to your mana pool. With that, I can just play something in my hand that might be able to do 2 or 3 damage. And then -3 loyalty, 4 damage to target creature. Probably not going to use that too much unless there's a real mean creature that's giving me a hard time. And then -7, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to target creature or player. Hell yeah, if I'm using the +2s all the time. Although in all honesty, with how fast this deck runs, like, you're never going to get a chance to do the -7. You're going to kill him before then. Way before then. Like, by the time you're able to play this and use them a couple times, dead. So, then land, it's just 16 mountains, and I put 4 Desert of the Fervent in there because when you're top decking and you don't need any more land, might as well try and draw something else. So,
and again, the best thing to remember about a sleigh deck in this case is one of those decks where it's like a bar. Basically, if you make something that's quick, tries to win as fast as possible. If you're trying to make an actual deck for F&M or anything like that, you need something to play against, and you need something that's actually aggressive and that you can actually overcome. And so this Slade deck, just initially when it's created, is a great bar and a great tool so that you can build a better deck that could succeed in winning.
Yeah, because those better decks we'll get in the next episode. We'll do combo, and the combo decks generally you want to test them off of your aggro decks, because if you can't get your combo off going, it's not going to be worth it. But we'll delve into that later. But again, you need to test your decks that you like playing with, that you want to see win against a Slay deck, to see if it's tournament worthy.
Yeah, and so we're just about out of time. So, anyways, again, this is our very first episode. If you have any critiques, please let us know. If you have any suggestions, how we could better set up lighting, whatever it is. If you don't like it, let us know. That way we can improve. But give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Any news is good news for us, and so we can create better content. And again, this series is just beyond the basics. We're starting with basic level strategy, going through how to actually become a little bit better than your friends that you're playing with. And so, just so you can just improve your game and just overall strategy. And so again, if you're advanced, obviously, I probably should have started with this. You're probably not going to find these tutorials very educational. You already got the concept. But for everybody else, this first series is for you guys, and so just beyond the basics. So, thank you, and see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.